The stock of the day is brought to you by IG, Australia's #1 CFD provider. Trade over 17,000 markets with extended trading hours on key US shares and competitive spreads, all on an award-winning platform. Get started at IG.com.
Is Pilbara Minerals quarterly revenue, they're falling 31% to $210 million compared with the prior quarter. The hard rock lithium giant seeing production of 220,000 tonnes for the July to September period. That's a reduction in production volume and sales volumes compared with the June quarter. Slashing its FY25 guidance and placing its WA plant on care and maintenance as lithium prices continue to cut into its revenue. Although it says the long-term growth outlook for the lithium market remains robust, and guidance there lowered from between 800,000 and 840,000 tonnes to between 700 and 740,000 tonnes. Realised lithium prices down around 19% on the prior quarter. So Luke, we know the pain suffered by those lithium producers. Look, it's trying to put a positive spin on it. Nonetheless, it is has downgraded guidance there. How do you see it?
Yeah, I actually see this as pretty positive for lithium stocks more broadly. And certainly I was up at Pilbara Minerals earlier this month on a site visit, and I think what they're doing up there is exactly what you would expect them to do, and that is, making sure they're right on top of costs. They've spent a lot of money over the years on ore sorters, and that's going to be a significant, benefit for them over the long run. They've got a lot of resource up there. There's a lot of scope for regional consolidation, whether it's Wildcat to the north, 47Ks, Wodgina. There's plenty of other good assets in the region. I think Pilbara have got all the money and all the facility here now to go and buy something. I think it'll be Wildcat, but I do think that Pilbara's continuing to do kind of what you would expect it to do. I think it is instructive, that there's more supply coming out of the market. I think it's 100,000 tonnes from the Altura acquisition, which is probably the worst part of Pilbara Minerals in terms of cost, which kind of makes sense in this price environment, but still gives them optionality if prices do come back. And that is my view. I do think they come back. I think Pilbara are on the pulse here in terms of, pretty strong and positive outlook for lithium longer run. And, you've only really got to look at the Rio takeover of Arcadium recently to see, I suppose, some of the bullishness in the sector, despite, pretty struggling prices at the moment, particularly for those, higher cost spodumene miners.
So do I take that as a buy then?
Yeah, Pilbara's a buy from me.
Yeah.
I think you're not going to go too far wrong in the lithium space at the moment, particularly among the the high quality developers and producers. I mean, Pilbara's probably a little bit further up the cost curve than maybe others in the brine sector, but certainly we think they're going to be a sustainable part of the supply chain for batteries for a long time to come.
Yep. Okay. All right. Mark, do you feel as though a bottom is in the lithium market?
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know whether we're going to go skyrocketing up again necessarily. We switched out. It's almost the whole industry needed a clean out of those marginal players, basically, which were causing the the oversupply. And I think Pilbara, we've got Liontown on at the moment, just on the basis down around these levels, just under $1, and just because they're coming into production, there's usually a little bit of uplift once they get those first sort of year results banked, and obviously Pilbara's a little bit further ahead there, but yeah, I think obviously one really key thing that Rio said when they with the Arcadium acquisition was they can't start this cheaper themselves. So I think that really does signal that basically that glut of supplies and the fall on the price, which was probably needed, has solved that oversupply problem, taken out those marginal players. And look, Pilbara and Liontown will be our two picks generally in the sector as it stands. Long term, but we're going to need lithium long term. It's just an absolute fact of life. So, but obviously that period, a very painful period of the last sort of 18 months, watching it all come back down again. I think we sort of switched out of those marginal players more than 18 months ago, to be honest, and thank God we did, basically. So and we've held Pilbara for a good chunk of that period and got most of the up run a couple of years ago. So Yeah, I think this is long term. It's a great buy. I don't know whether it's going to necessarily go anywhere for the next sort of 6 to 12. Well, probably not for the next 6 months. But long term, those high quality players with the long mine lives and the low cost producers are going to be, in the box seat once all the dust clears in the sector.
There you go. Stock of the day, Pilbara. It is a double buy.
The stock of the day was brought to you by IG. Turn volatility into opportunity this US earnings season with extended trading hours on over 110 key US shares. Get started at IG.com.